Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The ceremony will begin in 5 minutes. Good morning, honored guests and members of the Corps of Engineers family. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Christian Patterson, and I will be the Master of Ceremonies for today's occasion. On behalf of the leadership and team members of the United States Army Engineer Research and Development Center, welcome to the ERDIC Change of Command. Please rise for the arrival of the official party and presentation of honors. We ask that you remain standing for the presentation of colors by the Alcorn State University ROTC program, our national anthem performed by the 41st Army Band Brass Quintet, and the invocation given by Colonel Brad Bauman, Chaplain, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Please join me as we pray. Heavenly Father, we pause to invoke your blessing on this important ceremony and thank you for the gift of leadership. For Colonel Ivan Beckman, we give you thanks. We're grateful for his challenging leadership, his professionalism, and his dedication to the Army Corps of Engineers. Thank you for his committed concern and authentic caring for those under his command. Now, as the Beckman family transitions into a new phase of their lives, continue to bless Heron, Leanne, Annadelle, Isabel, and with your grace and strength. Your word tells us that the steps of a righteous person are ordered by you, and for those who ask, you will provide them your wisdom. Continue to grant the Beckman family your wisdom. We thank you also for our incoming commander, Colonel Teresa Schlosser, and we ask that you would bless her with the continued gifts of wisdom, courage, and strength in all that she does. May her past leadership skills, wisdom, and experience serve as a catalyst for even greater excellence throughout the district. For those she leads, provide them the resolve to rise to even higher levels of excellence in all they do in the district. We also ask that you would bless her husband, Tim, as they serve this command and all those gathered here. For it is in your name we ask these things. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, I would like to give special recognition to some of our distinguished guests joining us here today. Mr. Umesh Sanjanwala and Ms. Joanne Clark, representing Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, Mississippi Senator Briggs Hobson, Major General Richard Kaiser, the Deputy Chief of Engineers and Deputy Commanding General, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, leaders from the Mississippi Valley Division, Vicksburg District, 412th Engineer Command, 168th Engineer Command, Park Service, National Guard, as well as other Corps districts. Our community leaders, Mayor George Flaggs from the City of Vicksburg, our Board of Supervisors, Vicksburg Main Street and the Vicksburg Convention Center, our partners from our local Mississippi universities, our ERDIC Deputy Director, Dr. Beth Fleming, ERDIC Lab Directors and Lab Leadership, retired ERDIC Directors, Lab Directors, and Senior Scientists, Command Sergeant Major Bradley Houston, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Headquarters, as well as Corps Chaplain Colonel Brad Bauman, Colonel Beckman's wife, Hayren, his mother, Ann, Father Philip, as well as other family and friends, Colonel Slosser's husband, Tim Cutler, and her invited guests. We are so honored to have you with us here today. From time immemorial, armies throughout the world have conducted ceremonies to commemorate victory over an enemy, to honor their heroes, to celebrate special occasions, or to pay homage to their fallen comrades. These ceremonies add color and pageantry to military life. In the United States, the foundation of our present ceremonies was laid by the Continental Army. Today's ceremony is a reflection of procedures practiced since the dawn of our nation. The reviewing officer for today's ceremony is Major General Richard Kaiser, the Deputy Chief of Engineers and Deputy Commanding General, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. On behalf of the soldiers, civilians, families of the Engineer Research and Development Center, a bouquet of red roses is being presented to Mrs. Hayren Beckman in a tradition that symbolizes the appreciation of the support and contributions made by loved ones. Her roses are in full bloom, symbolizing the beauty and fulfillment of her time with us here at the Engineer Research and Development Center. A bouquet of white roses is also presented to Colonel Beckman's mother, Mrs. Ann Beckman, to symbolize the purest and unwavering support for her son over his 30-year career. And finally, a director's coin is being presented to Colonel Beckman's father, Philip, for his support to the Army and Engineer Regiment. The traditional gift for an incoming spouse is budding yellow roses, symbolizing the hope and potential for the newly forming relationships as the commander's spouse joins the organization. In keeping with the traditional color, but acknowledging the unique position of an Army husband, Lieutenant Peebles will be presenting Tim with a yellow shovel. Tim can now help. Tim can now help Colonel Slosser as they both dig in and join ERDIC in the Vicksburg community. At this time, I would like to invite Colonel Beckman to share a brief history of the ERDIC.
ERDIC was created in 1998 from the consolidation of 8 separate laboratories under the direction of Lieutenant General Ballard, the 48th Chief of Engineers. The lineage of ERDIC, however, dates back further, even to the Army's formation of the Corps of Engineers in 1775. Thomas Jefferson founded the United States Military Academy in 1802 because America needed skilled engineers, and West Point was our nation's first and only engineering school until 1824. After a century of debate whether the Army needed engineering research and development, the tragic Great Mississippi Flood of 1927 and the Flood Control Act of 1928 directed the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to establish the Waterways Experiment Station. In November 1929, the Chief of Engineers, Major General Little Brown, created our first laboratory right here in Vicksburg, Mississippi. Young First Lieutenant Herbert D. Vogel was designated as the first commander and director of our hydraulic laboratory facility with the mission to innovate solutions to fix the Mississippi River. Over the past 90 years, our requirements and capabilities expanded to address our nation's most challenging engineering problems. A soils division was created in 1939, and the concrete laboratory was relocated from West Point, New York, to Vicksburg in 1946. In 1960, Geodesy Intelligence and Mapping Research and Development Agency, now the Geospatial Research Laboratory, was established at Fort Belvoir, Virginia. In 1961, the Cold Regions Research and Engineering Laboratory, CREL, was established in Hanover, New Hampshire. And in 1968, the Construction Engineering Research Laboratory, CERL, was established in Champaign, Illinois. Starting in 1974, the Waterways Experiment Station saw growth by adding the Environmental Laboratory. In 1978, the Geotechnical Laboratory was formed by merging the Soils and Pavements Laboratory with the Mobility and Environmental Systems Laboratory. At the same time, the Structures Laboratory was established by combining the Concrete and Weapons Effects Laboratories with the Soils Division, Dynamics Division. In 1983, the Coastal Engineering Research Center, originally formed in 1963, relocated to Vicksburg from Fort Belvoir. In 1986, the Information Technology Laboratory, ITL, was established and is our most recent laboratory to join the Corps of Engineers. In 1996, the Hydraulics Laboratory and Coastal Engineering Research Center merged into today's Coastal and Hydraulics Laboratory. Finally, in 2000, the Geotechnical Laboratory and Structures Laboratory merged into today's Geotechnical and Structures Laboratory, GSL. Today, the ERDIC is a world-class research and development organization with 7 main laboratories in 4 states, totaling more than 3,100 acres. ERDIC employs more than 2,500 scientists, engineers, and professionals working in close partnership with Department of Defense laboratories, most federal government agencies, and academic institutions around the world. Finally, ERDIC boasts a billion-dollar portfolio with a single vision to discover, develop, and deliver innovative solutions to our nation's most challenging engineering problems to make the world safer and better every day. And at this time, it is my last duty as the ERDIC commander. I would like to introduce the director of the Engineering Research Development Center, Dr. David Pittman.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this very important and very historic occasion as we say goodbye to our 10th commander, Colonel Ivan Beckman, and welcome our 11th ERDIC commander and our very first female commander in the history of the ERDIC, Colonel Teresa Schlosser. What a historic day. So this is a military change of command. You soldiers are the face of the U.S. Army for many of us. Major General Kaiser, Colonel Beckman, Colonel Schlosser, and other men and women in uniform here representing ERDIC and the Corps, thank you for what you do for us. I mean that not only from my position as ERDIC director, but as a citizen of the United States of America. Those of you who put on that uniform every day and report for duty make many sacrifices during your career to keep us and this great nation safe. A great many of our ERDIC civilians spend their entire careers here, and that is certainly a strong point for ERDIC, but you soldiers have to move every 2 or 3 years. You sacrifice stability in your homes and in your families to go where duty calls. Colonel Beckman came to Erdick from the Mississippi National Guard, where he advised the Adjutant General on combat readiness, discipline, and morale, providing the AG assistance to over 12,000 soldiers and airmen in the Guard. Before that, he served on multiple assignments, both at home and abroad. It was during one such assignment in Korea that he met his wife, Heron. That was most likely his favorite assignment that he had in the United States Army. Colonel Schlosser comes to Erdick from an assignment as the commander of the Corps' Far East District. That's in Korea, for those of you who don't know where that is. She followed in the footsteps of her grandfather, an engineer soldier in World War II, who helped with the rebuilding of Tokyo. They are true soldiers in every sense of the word. They consistently answer the call of duty, as does each and every soldier every day, no matter where it may take them. Many of you have deployed to Iraq, to Afghanistan, and other dangerous locations just to keep us safe. I and everyone here will never forget the sacrifices you make or take your service for granted. You are soldiers and you are heroes. Thank you for your service. Again, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And for our Americans wearing the military uniform, you have offered your best in service to this country and citizens around the world, and for that, we cannot thank you enough. Thank you very much.
The change of command is a simple, traditional event that is rich with symbolism and heritage. Key to the ceremony is the passing of the unit's colors. The colors represent the lineage and honors of the unit, as well as the loyalty and unity of its soldiers and civilians. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing his responsibilities, her responsibilities, to the organization. Wherever the commander goes, there also are the unit colors. Throughout history, commanders ensured their unit colors were carried by their most trusted officers. Today, Dr. Pittman has this honored role as he represents the continuity, professionalism, and excellence of our combined military and civilian team. The flag used in today's ceremony is that of the U.S. Army Engineer Regiment, the Corps flag, as we call it. This flag represents 240 years of service to the Army and our nation. It links our dispersed research organization to the Corps' heritage and is a strong foundation on which to build our own proud history. The passing of the colors symbolizes the transfer of authority from the outgoing commander to the incoming commander. Because of the reverence commanders feel towards the colors, it is kept over their left breast during the transfer. The passing of the colors demonstrates to the soldiers and civilians of Erdick that the old commander has passed the mantle of leadership to the new commander, and with this also passes the loyalty of the workforce from the old to the new commander. At this time, the official party will take their places to execute the official change of command. Dr. Pittman will now pass the colors to the outgoing commander for the last time. Colonel Beckman will pass the colors to Major General Kaiser, signifying a successful completion of command. Major General Kaiser will pass the colors to Colonel Schlosser, charging her with the responsibility for the Erdick as its new commander. By the authority of Army Regulation 600-20, paragraph 2-5, the undersigned assumes command of the U.S. Army Engineer Research and Development Center, 6 September 2019. Signed, Teresa A. Schlosser, Colonel, Engineer, Commanding. Colonel Schlosser will now pass the colors back to Dr. Pittman, thus completing the change of command. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present the Deputy Chief of Engineers and Deputy Commanding General, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Major General Rick Kaiser.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's really great to be back in Vicksburg. It doesn't seem like I left that long ago, and it was telling when we came into town last night. The XO said, "Sir, do I need to pull out the Garmin?" I said, I don't think so. So it is just a pleasure and a blessing to be back here today with all of you. And I want to thank God for what a beautiful day this is in Mississippi. And you don't miss it until you're gone, I think, and you take it for granted. But what another amazing opportunity to serve and to serve our country, especially here in Erdek. A special welcome to our guests. And I know we've got some folks from congressional offices here. Thank you for your support and everything that you do. We can't do anything in the Corps of Engineers without your continued support. And so I want to say thank you on behalf of the entire engineer regiment. I want to thank our leaders from the city that are here. Mayor, it is always a pleasure to see you here. Chief, always glad to have you on board. And the folks who really are the heart and soul of this city, they're representing the groups that bring the vibrant nature of this town to life. And I told Teresa, you're going to really enjoy it here because Vicksburg grows on you rapidly. And so thanks for what you do for this community. I'd like to thank all our senior executive service members that are here, former lab directors and everybody. You should be proud of your legacy of service to this country, proud of everything that you've done. My battle buddy there from Washington, D.C., the Command Sergeant Major, thank you for coming. It adds such a special degree when you're here. Now let's give a hand to the two things. The ROTC detachment out of Alcorn State that came here. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the future of our service. Those young men and women who raised their hand to volunteer to serve our country while in college and will go off and commission to serve as either the active component or the reserve component. What a wonderful job they did. Let's give them a round of applause. And I want to thank our Army band that came in from Jackson today. And Sergeant Major and I went and spoke to them earlier. And what a difference it makes. And we all said, none of you will remember the speeches from today, but you will remember the young men and women who posted the colors, and you're certainly going to remember the band. So let's give them a round of applause, too. But most importantly is a welcome to the families. And it's so good to have Ann and Philip in here. With one L. And I told Dad this morning, I said, the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree. And when I walked in, I could tell Ivan's dad immediately. And I said, thank you, for the wonderful job that you did raising such an amazing young man and the leader that he is. And certainly it stems from what you showed him as he was growing up. So I want to say thank you for that because he has a wonderful family. And so, Heron, thanks for coming in. Now, you'll notice that there's 3 seats missing, and that's for the daughters. But they're where they're supposed to be, okay? They're in school. Okay, and I'll tell you, when we did the change of command, when Ivan came in, what an impressive group of daughters they are. And I have no doubt that this strong family, they're just going to do wonderful things for our country. And so, Tim, thanks for coming in. I know you all just moved into Vicksburg, and it's never fun moving in. It's always stressful. But welcome, and thanks for being here today. So I just want to brag a little bit about Erdek. So I am really glad that Colonel Beckman showed some of the history of this wonderful organization. And you can't go anywhere in Vicksburg if nobody asks about Mississippi Valley Division headquarters. And I said, well, I'm the general here in Vicksburg. And they're like, oh, you work for Erdek? No. And same thing with the Vicksburg district. They're like, well, you guys are part of Erdek. And they're, no. So we don't have a road sign like you do. But what a wonderful organization that you are. And I would tell you, we're proud of each and every one of you and what you do for us and for the country and the Corps. And so I had an in-brief with senior Army leaders, and one of the things I highlighted is what ERDC brings. You know, whether in New Hampshire or Champaign or right here in Vicksburg, the work that you do is tremendous for our country. And I shared this with the cadets who posted the colors in the band. I saw the picture of the lunar rover. I said, you don't know it, but the folks right here were the ones that helped design that rover so we could explore the moon. I said, you don't know it, but the folks right here are the ones who pioneered the technology to harden buildings against explosives. And the jet in 9/11 hit the one section that had been repaired. And if you hadn't done the work you had done, the loss of life would have been tenfold. And for those of us who have been deployed in harm's way, I reminded the band and the cadets that the people right here are the ones who developed the technologies to protect us against explosively formed projectiles and other IEDs as we were doing our best to secure this country from threats in Afghanistan and Iraq and most recently in Syria. And that's just a small sampling of them. And I'm proud that Ivan's going to stay here on board to work some directed research as part of the labs. And I said, I got 3 things for you to fix: Asian carp, toxic algae, and sediment transport. You get those done and we'll call it a day. So I just want to personally say thank you for what you do here for our country. Sometimes I suspect you take for granted what you do because you're going after it, you're finding new discoveries, and you're making things happen. But we get to see the results on the other end, and that makes a difference. So thank you for what you do. One more thing about ERDC. If you look around, you're going to see some different uniforms here, and that's awesome because here in the Engineering Research and Development Center, we do a wonderful job of bringing in our partners from other nations. We've got folks from Korea, Brazil, and the United Kingdom that are in a cooperative exchange. And you have no doubt in your mind that that does so much to increase our military-to-military affiliations with our partner nations. And I know they enjoy serving here, and so thanks for having them. So thanks, ERDC, for all you do, and let's give them a round of applause if we could. I'll just brag on Ivan a little bit and then thank Teresa for coming on board, and then I'll get out of your way. But what a wonderful day today. So this is always about change and continuity. And so you'll see the commander changes out, but the continuity rests in the director of the lab and all the folks who run Coastal Hydraulics, GSL, and all the other laboratories here. Your continuity is there, and it's the commander that does those command items to take care of the people so that the director can focus on directing the laboratories for critical activities. And Ivan, I said you were the right commander at the right time for ERDC. And your leadership, your selfless service, your integrity, your ethical sense, and your work with the community was noted, and it was just such a pleasure to have you. And then when I was just working up the street, just what a pleasure to have you as part of this community and as the commander for ERDC. And so what a great opportunity you had. And I think it worked out really well to be able to come from Mississippi Guard, from the Schrag position over to here. And now if you don't know, Ivan's going to work on finishing his PhD. And again, I joked about it, but he's going to do some research here in his last part of the Army. So, you know, again, your leadership over many, many years, whether it was jumping out of airplanes at Fort Bragg, serving our country in harm's way, has just been tremendous. And so although we're sad to see you go as the commander, we're excited to have you on board to do some more research. And we look forward to all that you're going to bring to this community after you retire. So thank you. I'm going to give you a round of applause. And I already spoke about his wonderful family, so I suspect his daughters are going to do great and wonderful things because of your wonderful parenting skills with them. Now I'd like to welcome Teresa and Tim to the community and to ERDC. You didn't hear about too much of it, but Teresa just came from Korea, and what a magnificent leader you have in Colonel Schlosser. So we had one of the biggest construction programs that we've ever executed in recent memory in Korea. It was, all total, it was about $10 billion with a B dollars of construction. Massive amount of work, and under Teresa's skilled leadership, She turned it around. The hospital that we were building was undergoing completely, missing milestones, delays, all sorts of challenges and problems. But under her skilled leadership, she was able to turn it around. And what a difference she made and what a success it's been. We did one of the biggest troop movements into Camp Humphreys, into wonderful facilities. And all of that is a testament to the leadership you provided. And so I just want to say thank you for all that excellent work that you did. It came at a cost, of course. When you're executing a program that large, it is a burden of command that very few people bear. And so thank you for that. And you couldn't have done it without the wonderful support of Tim. And we talk all the time about how commanders bear a certain burden. And we do call it the burden of command because you're responsible for everything that does happen or those things that fail to happen. And you can't do it without, having a partner there to keep each other strong. So thanks for what you've done for decades of marriage together and being an Army family. So I would just tell the people of Erdek, although you say goodbye to Colonel Beckman, you're bringing on a wonderful commander, and I guarantee you this, that Teresa will do everything that she can to provide that excellent leadership that you deserve, and it's going to allow the director to focus his efforts where they need to be. And because of that, this organization is going to continue to do wonderful things for our nation and for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 11th Commander of the U.S. Army Research and Development Center. Ladies and gentlemen, the former Commander of the U.S. Army Engineer Research and Development Center, Colonel Ivan P. Beckman.
Major General Kaiser, Mayor Flags, Command Sergeant Major Houston, distinguished guests, friends, and family. Thank you for being here today at this historic day for Erdek. I'm truly humbled and honored for the opportunity I've had over the past year. Commanding Erdek, to me, was a dream come true. What a tremendous assignment to finish my 30-year career. Next, I want to talk a little bit about what I'm wearing. I want to talk a little bit about my shoes. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, I went to a change of command, and the former commander went senile, started talking about his shoes. But bear with me. I'm coming to the end of my active duty career, my military career. These shoes have carried me for the past 34 years. We bought them in 1986 in Rock Island, Illinois. I wore them 4 years at West Point, so I really appreciate my mom and dad buying these shoes for me. 4 years at West Point, Fort Leonard Wood, Benning, Bragg, Korea, Oklahoma, Carson, Korea, Campbell, Korea, and Mississippi. So they've carried me through all of those assignments. They've been with me every step of the way, military functions, promotions, changes of command, even the send-off from Korea to Iraq and family events. I want to thank my parents. First of all, to my mom, you are my inspiration. I know I've made you proud, and that inspires me. Thank you for raising me and loving me the way you did and the way you do today. And for my dad, you are my number one role model. You always have been. I'm wearing your haircut, or I don't know, maybe you're wearing my haircut. But, and I'm wearing your nameplate. And I mean that quite literally. I was in the basement during Christmas and I found your name tape. And so I asked and you said, okay, so I'm wearing that today. So I want to thank you for serving and inspiring me to serve. I am proud to bear your nameplate, and I am proud to bear your name. Next, for my wife, Hayren, I love you. Thank you for being with me for the past 21 years. I know it wasn't your top choice to come to Mississippi. In fact, I don't think I ever convinced you. But you did come along, and the family is doing very, very well. We have 3 beautiful daughters who are doing great. They all have amazing opportunities for us all. So you always have, yeah, thank you. You always have such a positive outlook, and your golf score is getting pretty good too. So I know it's not that bad. I wish my girls, our girls, I wish they could be here today with us, but they're in school. Leanne is excelling in calculus, Annadelle is excelling in algebra, and Isabel is excelling in soccer. So I want to thank Lieutenant General Semonite for allowing me this privilege to command. I want to thank him for having the trust and confidence in me. I want to thank Major General Ware for nominating me for this command. I was content to finish my career as the IG for Mississippi National Guard when I got a phone call from General Ware, and he asked, well, would I be interested in taking command of Erdek just for 1 year, but would I be interested in coming down? And it'd be, a little bit of a hardship. It's a no-move PCS, so long hours, maybe, a long commute. So he said, talk it over with Hayren, call me back by the end of the week and let me know if you want to do that. So I tried to get back to work, but I couldn't get back to work because I just couldn't. So I called back in an hour, and I said, sir, I just talked to Hayren, and she's totally on board. She said it's going to be great. And so that evening, I went home, and I said, honey, we got orders. So, but thank you for supporting it. It has been difficult. I want to thank General Kaiser for officiating today. I have enormous respect for your leadership, your positive approach to handling very challenging problems. I don't know if you volunteered or were voluntold to for the deputy position, but you're the right man for that job. And it's an honor for me to be on stage with you today. I want to thank Dr. Pittman. What an amazing leader. What an amazing positive leader for Erdek. No one cares more about people on a very personal level. He's very supportive of me over my time as commander. Just our relationship alone proves that Erdek was the right choice. You inspire me, and I try to emulate your style. I want to say thank you to Dr. Fleming. Thank you for supporting me in command, but also in pursuit of my PhD. Dr. Fleming is not often on stage or in front of the camera, but I can tell you that she's pretty much the reason why Erdek is doing so well. I want to thank Hank McDevitt for his leadership with the Installations Operation Command, the installations, the enormous responsibility that he had. And with Hank, we've never had a bad day. And we've had some tough days. We've had some challenges that we work through, but we have never had a bad day, and I thank you for that. I want to thank Pat Sullivan, another unsung hero for Erdek. She stepped up as the deputy director, and I see you working late hours, your dedication and loyalty to Erdek. Thank you for doing that. I want to thank Christy Eckhart out there. I've never seen anyone work as hard as you. What an enormous workload you have. From the minute you arrive to the minute you depart every day, you keep track of so much. And that goes for all the admins out there. They plan, they coordinate, they communicate, they network. It's an amazing job that our admins do. I want to recognize the former Erdek commanders. Now I join you. Erdek Commander number 6, Gary Johnston, number 8, Jeff Eckstein, number 9, Brian Green. Thank you for being here today. I want to thank Jack Hefner for coming in, Colonel Retired Jack Hefner. It is so nice to see you here today. I want to recognize our military officers here today. Thank you for being here and looking sharp. I want to thank the Alcorn State ROTC and the 41st Army Band. And Chaplain, thank you so much for the words of encouragement. I want to thank the Mayor of Vicksburg, Mayor Flaggs, the Fire Chief, Craig Danzig, the Sheriff, Martin Pace, and other community leaders that we have. Our partnership with the city of Vicksburg and Warren County is so important to ERDIC. We need to continue building the bonds between our community and our laboratories. I am humbled and honored to be here. I have truly loved this job. I've truly loved coming to work every day, and it's all because of the people who work here. We talk about the 5 Ps, and we know that the first one is people. Okay, it's all about that. That's the capital P, the underlined, the italic P is people. All the other Ps just fall into line. We have premier facilities, amazing partnerships, impressive portfolio. It's all because of our people. The people of ERDIC love doing what they do. They inspire greatness in each other. They aspire to improve every day and grow. The people of ERDIC can accomplish anything with a positive attitude and a positive approach. The people of ERDIC are very creative and innovative. They volunteer their time and effort with STEM, with schools, with scouts. That is why I truly loved working here every day. The people of ERDIC are caring, respectful, diligent, and loyal. So I am proud to have been amongst you. I am very proud of ERDIC. And one last time, I just want to say thank you. Now, the sun has set on my military career. The sun is setting on my military career. But wait, it's a short night. There's a new dawn coming. I'm excited for my future. I'm excited for my family. We don't know what opportunities we have in front of us, but we know it's going to be great. So to Teresa and Tim, I just want to wish you the best of luck. You made history today. ERDIC made history today, which I believe is very significant. Teresa, I was happy to get to know you over in Korea a couple of years ago. I know you are the right commander for ERDIC. Your leadership style will carry ERDIC forward to the future, and I am excited for you and excited for ERDIC. So now I will relinquish the podium as I have already relinquished command, and while that does make me sad, I am content to know that ERDIC is in great hands. I'm excited for ERDIC's future with you as commander. Building strong, Army strong. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 11th Commander of the U.S. Army Engineer Research and Development Center, Colonel Teresa A. Schlosser.
Major General Kaiser, Mayor Flagg, Sergeant Major Houston, distinguished guests, family, and friends, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here today. So one of the traditions with Army changes of command is the 5-3-1 rule that was strictly enforced in normal unit changes of command. And the 5-3-1 rule is that the officiating commander gets 5 minutes for his remarks. The outgoing commander gets 3 minutes for his remarks. You might have gone a little over, but it was worth it. It was great. The incoming commander gets 1 minute for their remarks, and then they got to get off the stage. So my remarks will be much briefer than my normal remarks. Tim will tell you that I can be a little bit of a chatty Cathy some days, but I'll keep it short today. As I take command of this fantastic organization, I need to start by thanking a few folks. First, I need to thank my best friend for over 24 years. Tim has been my most avid supporter and my most honest critic for all these years, and I could not have gotten where I am without you. Thank you. Next, I want to thank General Semonite for giving me the opportunity to have a second command. Most of us don't get that, so that in itself is huge. Even better, he's allowing me to take command of ERDIC, the most amazing organization in the Corps of Engineers. I look at it as Willy Wonka's chocolate factory for engineers. I know that somewhere there are Oompa Loompas in the back behind the scenes. I think they're in DPW. Dr. Pittman, I think, calls it Disneyland for engineers. So somewhere between those two things is the right description for everything that ERDIC does. And I'm so glad that Ivan described the history and that General Kaiser brought up some of the other things that ERDIC has done, because the more I learn about ERDIC, the more I'm amazed at the secrets you guys keep down here. I mean, it's just, you guys do so much, and it is truly my honor to become part of this organization. Tim and I, we've spent most of our career saying, who gets to do this? And are they sure it's a good idea? But we get to do it, and for that, I'm very thankful. So, sir, please take my thanks back to General Semonite. I also need to thank Vicksburg community for welcoming Tim and I with open arms. As some of you know, we're from Montana, so up north, folks are a little more reserved. We're coming out of 3 years in Korea, where again, folks are a little more reserved. When we got to Vicksburg, we were welcomed at Kroger, at Walmart, at the gas station by folks who would generally stop us and ask us how our day was going, and they really wanted an answer. And we've met just wonderful people. We've got new friends at the laundromat. We're moving in. So thank you for being so incredibly welcoming. I know that, as General Kaiser said, we are going to love Vicksburg. It's been amazing. Sir, you have an amazing town. So thank you for making us feel at home so very quickly. As I look forward to my new position as the ERDIC commander, I want to thank Ivan and the whole ERDIC team for welcoming us so wholeheartedly. I've been completely welcomed, and I'm just so eager to be part of ERDIC and everything that we do here. Not only here in Mississippi, but Illinois, New Hampshire, and Virginia, because there's other pieces of ERDIC out there, also secrets. And my first exposure to ERDIC was when I was in the Alaska district, and I got to see the permafrost tunnel, and then I got to go on deployments and humanitarian assistance, and ERDIC was the reachback support telling me what to do for structural support following a tsunami. So again, these amazing things that you all do. So I know that everyone in the labs and all the support staff is adding every day to the amazing things that you provide, the innovations, the new technologies, the new sciences. And we're developing the innovative solutions to the nation's most challenging engineering problems. So thank you all so very, very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and join us in the singing of the Engineer Song and the Army Song. Colonel Beckman and his family will remain in the auditorium and welcome you to come and say farewell. Please form a line on the left side of the auditorium. Colonel Slosser and Tim Cutler invite you to a reception in the atrium. Please remain standing as the official party departs. On behalf of the entire Engineer Research and Development Center, thank you for joining us today. This concludes today's ceremony. Essayons and Army Strong.
Thanks, Chris.